butcher. This is called smoked pork soup bones, and I have here about half a pound of that. Whatever size pieces you want to cut it up, this is just the way it came. And I've got a tablespoon and a half of olive oil in the pan. The fat from the pork is going to render out a bit, and that's what I've been doing the last 4 or 5 minutes or so. If you wanted to use smoked turkey, if you're not a pork on the fork kind of person, listen, you do you. Use that smoked turkey. If you want to use ham hock, if you want to use the ends of ham that you may have at home, again, totally up to you. And while we're doing that, let's just go in with some fresh ground black pepper, onion, pimento pepper. And that pimento pepper doesn't have any heat whatsoever, and this is what it's going to look like. It could be 2 or 3 times the size of this, but it's elongated, very fleshy and full of flavor. Once you cut it open, you will think, yo, it's so spicy, but nah, just flavors, and that's why we call it flavor pepper or pimento peppers. I almost made a mistake and grabbed this cast iron pot handle without any sort of protection. Hey, right, go over season, wear protection, alright? Anyhow, I'm just gonna hit that a stir, and we're just gonna continue cooking that. As that cooks down, I'm gonna add about half a teaspoon of curry powder, just to bless it a little bit with some some niceness. Give that a little stir. Boom, boy, the kitchen is already smelling good. And you see that smoked meat that we added there? You see that smoked meat? Now, if all fails and all you have is turkey bacon or just regular bacon, rock that, it's gonna be good. I'm telling you, boy. I found some leftover pumpkin in the fridge, so of course that pumpkin is gonna make an appearance in there as well. Now, once we go to add salt, I'm just gonna scrape the bottom here. Once we go to add salt to this, I want you all to keep in mind that smoked meat, whatever smoked meat you start off with, it will have a sodium element to it. If you do decide on using just plain old double smoked bacon or just any sort of pork bacon or even turkey bacon, I wouldn't start with well, not the turkey bacon. The turkey bacon is very lean, so you will still need to add oil in the pot or the pan. If you're using regular bacon, render out some of the fat from that bacon. You may need to take some of the fat out, but you don't need to add any further oil to that. I've got some bell pepper in the fridge. And you know, most of these dishes that I've been sharing lately is giving you the ability to clear out whatever leftovers you have in the fridge. So the pumpkin was from a soup. That's 3/4 of a bell pepper I had laying around there. And of course the cabbage. It is fall in Canada. Cabbage is relatively cheap, and I bought a few big ones. So this is probably about 2 pounds of cabbage that I'm going to add in there. The pumpkin edges are starting to soften up, the pepper is starting to soften up, the onions are starting to caramelize, and if you wanted to add a bit of garlic in here, by all means add some garlic. If you want to add some dry thyme in there, by all means do so. I do not like dry thyme, and I'm too lazy to go in the backyard for some fresh thyme. So yeah, in goes that cabbage. It will look like a lot once you start piling it on, but it will wilt down as you stir it in and gets in contact with the heat. Of course, we're going to need salt, and remember what I said about keeping in mind the smoked meat will have that sodium element to it, so you will be able to adjust this later on. You can add, but taking out salt later, not so user friendly. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? It's been about 4 minutes, and you can see it's already starting to wilt down. Now here's where 2 sort of personalizations you will be required to do. One, you have to figure out the sort of texture that you like with your cabbage and stop it at that point, because the residual heat in the pot or the pan, in this cast iron pan, will continue cooking it. This is exactly where I want it to be because I like a little crunch in the pepper, the cabbage and the pumpkin. What I will want to do though is to dry up just a little bit of this sort of water that was sprung up. So I'm going to give this about 2 more minutes. I'm going to taste it for salt. So the other thing is you need to taste it for salt and then adjust that to your liking, and voila, cabbage with pumpkin with smoked pork. Yo, a delightful little something. I do hope you all get the opportunity to give this one a try because it's our best thing, man. You know, you put it on rice or as a side dish, how you would typically use cabbage. Totally up to you. I like it just like this. I'll tell you straight up. I ain't even making rice. I eating this just like that. Irie? Irie.